Hello, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new. It is time for our next Scentsy video. This time we're going to be reacting to a leadership training from some superstar directors, as well as responding to some comments that have to do with the last Scentsy video that I posted. And we're going to get right the fuck into all of it. But first, we need the disclaimer. Not familiar with Scentsy, they are what is called an MLM, also known as a multi-level marketing company, network marketing company, social selling company, party plan company. Some would even refer to these types of business models as a pyramid scheme. And that is because they do run off of a recruitment-based business model, meaning the more people they recruit onto their team, the more money they make. These businesses do typically have products that they sell, and the products that Scentsy sells is, you may have guessed by the name, scented products. Their flagship product was the warmers and wax that you may be familiar with, that have the light bulb in and a dish on top that melt wax and make your space smell however you want it to smell. Scentsy has since branched off into other products such as cleaning products, children's products like stuffed animals, and more recently, a wicked candle. The wickless alternative to candles company released a candle. Very interesting choice. Any Hoosier, over the past year or so, here on my channel, we have been closely watching the, in my opinion, downfall of Scentsy, and that is what we're going to continue doing. There are chapters in this video, so you can skip ahead to wherever you want to skip ahead to, whether you came for the reaction and not for the comments, or for the comments and not for the reaction. You could skip around and just watch what you're here to watch. But the first thing that we're going to do is listen in to this leadership training from some superstar directors within Scentsy. If you're not familiar with the ranking in Scentsy, superstar directors are at the very top of the alleged pyramid. They are the ones with the largest downline, the biggest teams. Now, this training is over an hour and a half long, so I'm not sure if I'm going to make it through the whole thing. We may get the point after a little while and just cut it short, but we will find out. With all of that said, let's get the fuck into it.
Not like me? Woo! Okay. Hi, guys. Welcome to Big Business Energy. I am literally so excited. All of us are so excited for this. Listen, we need this just as much as you guys probably need it. Obviously, you need it because you're here, right? You showed up for a reason. So, we are going to be having these calls on the second Monday of every month. Okay, so make sure that you have it down. It's at the same time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. These calls we're aiming for an hour. Okay, we want to make sure we value your time. We also value our time. We know that Scentsy is not our entire lives, like our family. This butts into family time when we get it. So we're trying to keep it at an hour. Now tonight, for the very first call, it might go over a little bit. Just because all of us are going to be speaking a little bit tonight, but for future reference, for future calls, we are going to be kind of splitting up us talking. So you might not see or hear from all of us each call. And I just want to throw this out there. If you are like rocking it out in your business, doing all the things, sponsoring, growing, training, getting some crazy numbers with your PRV, be prepared. Your leader is going to ask you to train. Okay. So get ready. And that is where, I know that sounds so scary. I remember being asked when I was a little baby consultant to train on a call like this. And I was literally so scared. I was about to poop my pants. Okay. But I did it. I didn't die. And I grew so much from it. Okay. So if your leader asks you to train, please, please, please say yes, okay? Even if it's for literally 3 minutes, all you have to do is share what you're doing in your business that's working for you, okay?
Being forced to train somebody in your business is a really interesting way of having your business run you and not the other way around, if you catch my drift.
So just putting that out there. The goals for these calls are we need to bring the momentum back.
Where did it go?
And I can bet that all of you guys are here for that exact reason. I'm here for that exact reason. Um, we need to learn how to believe in ourselves again. Okay. We have to push ourselves out of our comfort zones. That's the only way that you're going to grow.
You have to learn those first two things again, which raises the question, why is Scentsy consultant morale so low? Why are you having these superstar director, top leader leadership trainings so often where you hear these leaders? This isn't the first time we've heard this in the past year and a half or so, where the leaders are getting on the call and they're like,
we need to get our attitudes back in check. We need to relearn how to do this.
why is it reaching that point right now? Ask the questions and listen for the actual answers and not for people to tell you to stop asking negative questions. There's a reason that the morale for Scentsy consultants is so low.
We need to learn the power of consistency. If you have not learned that already, consistency is going to win over and over. Um, Also, remember the power that we have together. We truly are better together, okay? And that's why there's so many of us SSEs, because we wanted to bring all of our groups together because we can learn so much from each other, okay? If you're not connecting with somebody in your group, I can guarantee you can find somebody here in this chat to be your accountability partner, okay? So we are better together. Um we need to remember that Scentsy always has our backs. Yes, they make changes, but at the end of the day, they are making changes for the benefit of us, okay, and our businesses.
False. Without the success of Heidi and Orville and the people in corporate, there is no Scentsy. So the people at the top within corporate are the people that Scentsy is worried about. They're not as worried about the consultants. And Orville's verbiage and all of his comments and his trainings should make that crystal clear at this point, in my opinion.
And then lastly, we want to equip you guys with the knowledge and belief in yourselves that you guys can also lead your own team and groups, not just leading them individually, but you can also have your own training calls just like this with your people, okay? So we
How special. I'm sure everybody just is dying to host a call like this where you're begging people to be excited about being in Scentsy again.
Don't leave, please.
don't want to have to do this all the time. We want to break too. And so that's part of why we are doing these training calls to help you be the leader that you want to be. Okay. There is going to be homework at the end of this call. Chastity's going to share that with you. And then, like we just kind of hit on, we are taking mental notes or actual notes on who in our groups continues to show up to these calls, and there may or may not be a little incentive for showing up live. So this will be recorded and it will be on our YouTube channels and shared in our groups, just FYI, in case you can't make all of them.
There's an incentive for you to show up to a training put on by one of your leaders in your own business. That math does not math.
But we are clocking to see who's showing up. Okay. Okay. All right, so we're all going to share a little bit about our stories. So, first of all, I realized I didn't introduce myself. I'm sorry. My name's Rachel Anderson, but I go by Ray or Ray Ray. I've been doing Scentsy for over 8 years now. It was 8 years in October, which is literally crazy. I joined because I had just wrecked my car. I was a full time nurse. Okay, I was a full time RN, and I wrecked my car, and so I bought a brand new car. So I went from having a no car payment to a $400 car payment, and that just wasn't going to work for me because now all my play money was going towards a freaking car money. Oh, the horror! And or a car payment. And your girl likes to eat out when she wants to eat out, shop when she wants to shop, get a Starbucks when she wants a drink, and that wasn't going to work. So my goal was to make $200 when I first joined.
And tell us you're privileged as without telling us you're privileged as.
I hit way over that my first month. Then Chastity Robinson told me the potential of what a paycheck could look like with this business. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? You know people that make $10,000 in a month? Okay. All right. And here I am. I just kept going. I just kept going. I put my head down. I worked full time as a nurse and I hit SSD within 2 years. And then COVID hit, and I ended up leaving my nursing career to do Scentsy full time. And I've been doing Scentsy full time since. So it actually this month is oh my gosh, 6 years that I've been doing Scentsy full time, which is absolutely crazy. Um, I struggled with infertility for 4 years. I just recently had a baby. He just turned 8 months, and he's the best thing that's ever happened to me and my husband. I live in North Carolina in a little small town. Yeah. Katie Lassiter, she's up here speaking. She's actually my sponsor. She's also an SSC, and we live about 20 minutes apart. So, that also, I just wanted to say, if you know a ton of consultants around you, you can still be successful. Okay? You can still be successful.
The fact that they have to preface anything with
If you know a ton of consultants around you, you could still be successful.
is enough information for you to know that Scentsy is already very much oversaturated with consultants. There should not be that many consultants in one area. That shouldn't be even allowed, but it is because, as we've seen in the past, the consultants, in my opinion, are the number one customers. So they need them to continue to join so that the higher ups in the corporate office can continue to profit off of these vulnerabilities.
Yeah, that's a little bit about my story, and I'm grateful to be here. Um, one the I put the link, or you guys got sent the link for the keynote that Heidi did back in 2017 for Swing for the Fences. Go ahead and drop in the comments, if you were able to watch it, what your biggest takeaway was from that keynote. Okay, my biggest takeaway was you've got to exercise your brain to continue to have a growth mindset. Why was that my biggest takeaway? Because your girl, I'm not afraid to admit it. Your girl has had a little bit of a setback becoming a mom. It's extremely hard trying to run my business and do all the things with mom life. It's very, very hard. On top of keeping your house clean and doing all the other things that life throws at you. Like, life is gonna keep lifing. But if you want this to work, you have to push through and you have to find what works for you. And you're gonna have to take a step back and reevaluate a, a million times. Okay. I have had to step back and reevaluate my business a million times in the last 8 years. Okay.
This is word salad. This is true for anything. You will have to step back and reevaluate your life all of the time in general. This is nothing that is telling people how you got to the top of Scentsy. And the reason for that, allegedly, in my opinion, is because they can't duplicate what you did. Because again, Scentsy is oversaturated with consultants, but you're going to sit here and tell them they just need to reevaluate everything that they're doing, and it's their fault because you don't know the answers to helping them find success. So you just give them word salad instead.
Bon appetit.
Where's the protein? Where's the meat and potatoes?
Have I lost my spark at times? Absolutely. But listen, my spark is back. Okay. I just want to let y'all know 2026 is the year of the horse. So I hope y'all are ready to saddle up. Okay. Yeehaw. Yeehaw. So anyway, back to my little takeaway real quick.
Just because it's the year of the horse doesn't mean things are automatically going to happen for you.
You have to exercise your brain, which just means like learning new things in order to continue to grow. Okay. Otherwise, you're not going to have the growth mindset, and you have to have a growth mindset if you want to make this business work. Okay. With that said, I watched a YouTube training.
So the first tangible thing that we need is a growth mindset in order to find success within Scentsy. How does that help me? How does that get you anywhere?
That was just talking about like how to talk to people and how to stop rambling, because that has just been, mom brain is a real thing and I had to get it together. So I've been just watching YouTube videos to try to help this mushy brain of mine. And fun fact, this was one of the takeaways I got. The game of business is just a game of conversation.
Wow, I bet you practiced that all morning.
Isn't that good? You just have to talk to people. You just have to talk to people. Okay? So,
Again, no, that's surface level business talk. Yes, in order to have success in sales, you have to talk to people because you're selling to other people. People are buying your things. This is nothing new. This is common sense that still doesn't tell these people how to get to the top, how to make any kind of wage within an MLM like Scentsy. It doesn't give them those answers. They know they need to talk to people. What are they supposed to be saying? What are the steps they're supposed to take?
Yeah, and then one action that has transformed my business, I had to really reflect and go back to what worked when I was growing my business in the very beginning years of joining, and timers.
Excuse me, what was that?
Timers, okay? And guess what? I'm going back to timers. I have started doing it when I get some downtime, and sometimes that's 5 minutes, sometimes it's 15 minutes. Sometimes I get a whole 40 minutes if my baby decides to nap for 40 minutes. Very rare, but sometimes I get it. And when I say timers, I mean I literally go on my phone, I put my phone on Do Not Disturb, and I set a timer for, I don't know, whatever time I have. Let's say 10 minutes. And in that 10 minutes, I message as many people as I can in 10 minutes to book parties, or I message as many people as I can in 10 minutes to to have sponsoring conversations, okay? So, timers have literally changed my business.
How successful are those little timed sessions? How many people are joining your team or buying Scentsy? If you're just focused on how many messages you can get out, what is your real end goal? You guys in Scentsy so often talk about how you give more than you take and you want to build relationships with your customers, which I think is really bizarre. If you're not in luxury sales, which Scentsy is not luxury sales, but that's beside the point. If that were even true for these leaders, then they wouldn't be firing off as many copy paste messages as they do in their timed sessions like this individual is explaining. This isn't something that's unheard of within Scentsy or any MLM. Most MLMs do encourage this. Like you have a set time during the day where you need to be messaging as many people as possible. It doesn't matter that you're directly messaging them personally when they're just a number, a tick on your box. There's no connection there whatsoever. And it just proves the point that it's always been about the dollar signs for people like this, in my opinion.
And I've just recently started going back to them. But also, you know what they change? They are a game changer when it comes to housework, okay? Put a timer on and see if you can empty the dishwasher in 2 minutes, okay? I guarantee you can do it. So, anyway, that has nothing to do with your business, but yeah, so that's all I have to say. I'm going to pass the mic to Ariel, and make sure you spotlight yourself, girl.
I asked them if you weren't on when we were talking about it before. I asked them to remind me to spotlight people. Replace spotlight. There we go. Because I know who I am, and I'm gonna get so involved in what everybody is saying. I'm likely gonna forget. So if you hear them remind me, it's not because they're being mean. It's because I told them to. Hello, my name is Ariel. I go by Wicked. That's a nickname of mine, and that's how I've branded my business over the last 12 years.
This just keeps getting weirder.
She goes by Wicked. Sound off in the comments. Tell me why. Why does she go by Wicked?
I started my business when we were stationed in South Korea. I was pregnant with my first kid. We had just moved across the world to another country. And I had actually been doing a different direct sales business, but it wasn't working for me. And I was buying a lot of Scentsy because Korea is a little bit of a stinky country. And so it was just like this solution that I found. And
I know she didn't just say that. We imagine that, right? That was fucked up. We don't say things like that.
my sponsor had actually asked one of my friends to join. She didn't know that I wasn't super happy with what I was doing. So I approached her and I said, "Hey, can you talk to me about this?" And so from there it was kind of, one of these building my business because I was in the middle of having babies, living in a different country. My support network was the squadron that we were with, so the spouse is there, and my in-person family support network was back across the world. And so it was a really unique, different way to kind of start my business. There were stops and starts because then I had another baby while we were over there, and it was right about the time that I was getting ready to have my son that I was like, I'm really all in this time, because I had said it before. Who hasn't? I'm really all in this time. I'm gonna do it. And we were also getting ready to move back across the world. And so it was just this momentum that I had gained because I was about to attend my first Scentsy family reunion in Nashville. And
Oh, that was my second family reunion.
I had seen so many happen while I was overseas. And I was so envious of people being able to go to in-person events because I saw the community and the collaboration and the excitement and the energy that all of these events bring. And so we moved over here in June of 2016. I'm looking at my husband like he's going to tell me. They're eating dinner. We were rolling in two wheel sideways for my daughter's soccer game to get back here so I could get on the call. So I've got my dinner sitting in front of me. Anyway, so we moved back here June of 2016. He gave me the thumbs up, and SFR was in July. And so I hit the ground running when we came back, and it was amazing and it was incredible. And for the last 9 years, that was quick mental math. If you know me, I hate math. That was quick mental math. But 9 years I have been running my business. And there have been times, like Ray Ray said, like my spark has been gone. But
I'm going to say it because you called Korea a stinky country. They give stupid. Tell me I'm wrong. Like, are they giving those vibes? The shit they're spewing so far is just common sense for the most part.
you can't expect the spark to keep you going. It is the boring, mundane daily activities, that discipline of doing the crap that people don't want to do, that's going to push you forward to keep you moving. And there's a lot of other things along the way about my story, but I don't think that's super important. The important thing is, like, I'm still here and I'm still working and I didn't give up. And I am so excited that we are here and listening to Heidi's keynote speech again. So that would have been my second SFR. It was 2017 in Kansas City. That was my second SFR. I had just promoted to director, and that growth mindset piece really stuck with me. I remember thinking that I need to name my fixed mindset. So I named her Patrice. And anytime Patrice talks to me, anytime she rears her head, I'm like, pipe down. I don't know if any of you have seen Patrice. Shut up, Patrice. For my husband. Have you seen How I Met Your Mother? Robin's not nice to this gal Patrice. She just wants to be your best friend. But that's not who this Patrice is. It's just fun to say. This Patrice is the one who's trying to tell you that you can't do things, that you're not worthy, that you are just not enough. And she's a lying liar. We do not like Patrice, right? So tell her to pipe down, because she is trying to rewire your neural pathways to make it so that you take the easy route, the route that is like, well, not much work, or just posting and hope something sticks. We don't want that. We want to rewire our neural pathways so that, okay, we're going to do hard things and we're going to keep doing hard things and we're going to keep pushing forward and moving forward so that those hard things become a little bit easier, more manageable.
And she's talking like she's some kind of therapist or psychiatrist or psychologist. And from what I understand, she's none of those things, not even close. We don't need to rewire anything. What you're explaining is to lock out the questions that you're having and the legitimate doubts that people could potentially be having. This is part of the BITE model that is talked about when cults are brought up. It's part of the I, which is information control. And we can see why, because we're trying to avoid the questions that are being raised by our logical minds and calling it instead negativity and just shutting it out. And that's a problem. That's where we get into big trouble. And Scentsy's cult mentality is growing stronger every single day. And the people who are aware of cult mentality and are aware of the things that are going on are seeing it and bringing it up to people and subsequently being told that it's just negativity.
Then our neural pathways will say, you know what? That's the path that I'm used to. That's the path I've been doing. We're used to it. I'm going to hear no a lot. And other people's opinions, that's none of my business. That was one of the things that I think really changed my business back in, I want to say it was about 2019, was that I stopped listening to other people's opinions for a very good amount of time. And sometimes they sneak back in because, you know, you let Patrice win. But not letting other people's opinions sway what you do, what you say, what you think, that is not the way to progress and move forward. Because are they the ones earning your paycheck? Are their opinions the ones that you can cash at the bank?
So again, it's all about the dollar signs. That's all you really care about. It's not about giving more than you take. These people that are bringing these things up a lot of the times when they're warning you about an MLM or shady business practices or cult behaviors, they're likely people who love and care about you. And they're bringing up these things that you should be more aware of and asking questions about, because they don't have access to ask the questions for you. They're saying, hey, maybe you should ask these questions. They're not being negative. They're trying to look out for you. And if you have somebody who is in your life who loves and cares about you, you should be letting them. They're looking at things from a different point of view. They're seeing people a different way that you do. They're seeing situations a different way than you do. And if you look at things through their lens, you could see something that you completely missed through your own lens. Speaking from experience on many, many things, you can't just write off something somebody says because you didn't like it. That's not how life works. We are not toddlers anymore.
It's a no. It was not a trick question. That's no. No. Other people's opinions are not going to sway your business, your life. They're not going to have an impact unless you let them, right? Because you can choose to let them. What you're not changing in your life, you are choosing. Are you choosing to let Patrice win? Or are you choosing to move forward and change and shift? So in 2026, I am really excited that we have this big business energy and we are going to move forward, and my light just died. And so maybe that was the cue. Maybe that was God saying, girl, you're done. That is enough.
That was a sign. I don't think it's the sign you're thinking it was, but it was a sign.
But I think SFR can have such, oh, my husband coming in clutch with his phone light. Listen, he is here for a reason, and it is for good lighting. Bless you. SFR is one that you should start planning for now.
Girl, you're on Zoom with your webcam. That light didn't do anything.
This is life, you guys. This is how we exist here. SFR is so impactful. And even just listening to the one keynote of Heidi's, if you've never been to an event before, even just listening to that one is powerful. Can you imagine being in that room when they are giving their keynotes? It's life-changing. It is so impactful.
Yeah, and it's another way for them to make money off of all of their consultants. Where do you think the money goes that the consultants pay to go to Scentsy Family Reunion? It goes straight to corporate. And yes, they have to pay for the rentals and this and that and this and that. But if you think that they're not making a dime off of Scentsy Family Reunion, you're sadly mistaken. And also, something else that I always like to point out about MLM conventions like Scentsy Family Reunion is that they like to get people there because as human beings, when we're in the same room with an electric type of energy where people are egging you on and cheering you on to do something, anything, you are going to be more hyped to continue to do said thing. So they need you there every year so they could refill your cup with the hype so that you don't leave, because they need you, again, to keep lining their pockets, in my opinion.
I hope that you're planning to be there in July in Boise. Okay. So, all of this to say, decide who you want to be. And I know Ray Ray said that we're gonna have homework, and I don't want that to be, if you're somebody like my friend Maggie who doesn't like to be told what to do, think of it in a different way. Think of it as a challenge for yourself to help you grow. Okay. So we love you so much, and I am going to go ahead and pass the mic to Amber.
If anything, the challenges for yourself to help you grow in any MLM business is a really good way to help you shrink. They just want you to shrink and stay small in their culty world.
Wow. I am just so impressed with your husband right now. That is amazing. Okay. Hopefully mine doesn't die. Speaking of, because then it's gonna be really dark in here. All right. So hi guys. I am Amber Ryan. I joined Scentsy. It's almost been 10 years. April is 10 years, which is really, really crazy. I thought about that and I was like, holy cow, like 2016 doesn't feel like I still feel like I'm 21. I'm absolutely not 21, but like didn't join when I was 21. Time has absolutely flown. I initially joined Scentsy. I was a full-time special education teacher and didn't really want to be a teacher. Never, ever wanted to be a teacher. But I changed my major halfway through college and I decided that that's what I was going to do. So I was doing it, not in love with it, and had been using Scentsy for about 2.5 years. My sponsor had mentioned it a couple of times and I was like, absolutely not, I'm not doing this. I did another direct sales company. If you guys know what Advocare is, so I did that. While I was teaching, I loved the extra income because I was like, hello, I'm a teacher. I like to have fun. I like to go do things. And teaching wasn't that for me. So, if you are a teacher, you know, you know how those paychecks go. So, I finally one summer was like, okay, I need, money to pay my car payment.
Teachers don't make enough money at all. I will agree with her there. However, if you're a teacher and you're watching this and you're toying with the idea of joining an MLM with the hopes that you could leave your teaching job, please know that that is not going to happen in most cases. There are other routes to make money aside from being a teacher. You're probably going to have better odds in making money gambling than you are joining an MLM.
So very similar to Ray, did not know that. And I was moving back home and I was like, hey, I don't want to wait tables and I don't want to nanny because I'm with kids all the time. So I finally decided to hop on my sponsor's website, press join, and then texted her and said that I joined. Took off very, very quickly in it. Still full-time teaching. So I did that for 4 years, as I built to superstar director, hit superstar director in 2020, got married in 2020, bought a house in 2020, COVID happened in 2020. Great year for me over here, right? And now our business, I can say across the board has kind of been like this and then like it's like a roller coaster. Okay. So lots of growth mindset that has gotten me through the years.
I love how they're just admitting that. Every single one of them is just lately admitting that,
My business has been tanking since 2020.
yes, we know. And we've been trying to tell you that the ship is sinking.
I was able to leave teaching because of Scentsy.
Oh, that's a huge income claim. Yikes. Also, another question that you should be asking when somebody is telling you they were able to leave their job because of an MLM, ask what their husband does, or their significant other does, or their partner does.
I just had another child. Forgot about that part. She turns a month old tomorrow. So I have two babies. I have a 3.5-year-old boy. Actually, he'll be 4 in May, and I have a 1 month old baby. So that's been really fun. Life's been really, really crazy trying to figure out and navigate having two kids. It really hasn't been the baby that's been the issue. It's been the toddler that's been the issue. So if y'all can say some extra prayers for me, but we're getting back into the groove of things. Just trying to survive over here, but still knowing that I have to work my business. So my business looks very differently as it did last year, couple years ago. I work sporadically. But enough about that. Biggest takeaway from the keynote, other than the baby crying and the whole entire video, I was saying that when I rewatched it, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm having like anxiety watching this. Um, where Heidi said that Babe Ruth, it's hard to beat a person who never gives up. That is so true in any situation in life.
Okay, so they are referring to the keynote speech that Heidi gave as Scentsy Family Reunion in 2014. I'm pretty sure that was the year that this happened. It was either 2014 or 2015. I don't know. It was around that time frame. Shit's changed. Swinging for the fences isn't gonna save your Scentsy business anymore. That was many years ago. Times have changed. I feel like her keynote speech isn't even relevant anymore. It's not like a speech given by Martin Luther King Jr., for example. It's Heidi Thompson, the co-founder of Scentsy, which, again, they didn't found Scentsy. I talked about that in enough videos. We don't need to bring it up again. Anyway, this is another great picture of the cult-like mentality because of the way they're idolizing Heidi and this speech that was given almost 11, over 10 years ago.
If you have the get-go, if you have the momentum, you have the not motivation, because motivation, you guys know, motivation is literally like, what is motivation? You're gonna like listen to something and like have chills, and then you're gonna be like, okay, well, I don't want to do that. Like you're gonna like look at something else and squirrel and, oh, well, I'm not motivated anymore. But if you never give up and you keep going, that is so powerful. So I want you guys to think about that with this year, with this big business energy, the energy that you bring forth, and deciding that you're not going to give up when it gets hard is going to, it's going to propel you forward. Another couple things, I love quotes. How Heidi said, I can't do it, I won't do it, I don't want to do it. How many of us say that all the time when we're doing follow-ups? When, gosh, I asked somebody today if they wanted to join my team. Like, I was literally like, it was everything in me. I was like, she's gonna say no, she's gonna say no, she's gonna say no. She did say no. It's fine. She literally just had a baby 2 days before I did, but I planted that seed. Okay. She's a teacher. She told me she didn't have money in her bank account. I can relate to that. Who am I to keep, put no in her mouth, even though she did say no? It's fine. I didn't die.
She said no because she has no money in her account and it costs money to join this business. Nobody who is financially struggling should be investing any kind of money into an MLM. I wish I took that advice back in the day because I'd be in a different position, but I didn't. If somebody tells you they don't have money or they're struggling to make ends meet at their job, don't then offer them a business opportunity out of the kindness of your heart and ask them for money for that in return. It's gross.
But you don't want to do it. We don't want to do it. Do you want to be successful in this business? You have to do the things that successful people do. That's one of the biggest things that transform my business, is looking at successful people. What are they doing? What are the habits that they're doing? And how can I make those my own? I used to say the quote all the time, do it scared. And that's the truth. You have to be scared doing it. If you're going to let, actually back at Ariel saying Nashville SFR, here's my SFR plug. Mel Robbins was the speaker at that Nashville SFR, and I will never forget, it was when she was teaching on the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If you give yourself 5 seconds and you don't do the thing that is hard in those 5 seconds, you're going to convince yourself not to do it. Okay. Patrice, that is the greatest thing ever.
I don't love Mel Robbins, but I was a proponent to the 5-second rule. And I will say it does make a difference. Do I think we need to read a whole book about it? Probably not. But the 5-second rule does make a difference for me, at least.
It's going to convince you not to do it. Okay. Also the power of yet. Telling yourself, I'm not there yet. I haven't earned the Mexico incentive yet. I haven't. I was very honest today with myself. I have it written down in like 5 different places how many points away. I'm literally not even 2,000 points away from it. I haven't earned it yet. I'm going to earn it. Okay. Place that in there. That's going to help you with that growth mindset. Actions that transformed my business. Daily IPAs, so income producing activities, not the beer. I wouldn't be here. I'd be like falling over if that was the case. The label system that Katie Lassiter created years and years and years ago. I used to do that. I'm going to get back to that. I had a happy planner. I had it written out on sticky notes, or not sticky notes, labels, 2x4 labels. I even wrote them out. I'm a very paper pencil person. When I can check something off that I did it, there's a lot of power in that. So that is what I did to get where I'm at. Also the 2x2x2 rule. Jen Audette created that, talked about that, trained about that a long time ago, back when the minimum was 2,000 PRV a month, 2 recruits a month for 2 years. That is what I know we've all talked about together. We all did that to get where we're at. So I know we're going to be talking about that a lot. Now it is the 2,500, which is the minimum to get the 30%. So that's a little bit different. But that's all I have. I do want to say I just want to talk about SFR really quick, just because of how powerful that first one was for me. This is in Boise. Home office is right around the corner. And Boise has really good coffee. And they have a really fun bar called Humpin' Hannah's. And that's all I'm going to say. I'm going to let you guys think about that. And we'll be there. So now spotlight, who's after me? Oh.
Me.
Okay.
Maggie, I am. Can y'all hear me?
Boise has really good coffee, so come to Scentsy Family Reunion.
What a selling point.
Can you hear me maybe? Yes?
Yes.
No? Okay, perfect. Okay, So my name is Maggie Hensley, and I'm a superstar director out of Raleigh, North Carolina. That's still weird to say that. I've been here for 2.5 years, but it's still very strange for me to say that. I was in Texas for the first, what is that, 12 years of my business. Next month is my 14-year anniversary, which is crazy. I'm listening to all of them say how long they've been with Scentsy, and I remember when every single one of them joined, and I remember doing trainings and have all of them be part of our trainings when they were very new consultants, and so I feel like an absolute grandma right now, but
I remember her. I don't remember anybody else thus far on this call, but I remember her from when I was in. If you didn't know, I was in Scentsy for roughly 3-4 years.
also so honored that they have asked me to be part of this. So thank you for having me. Again, 14 years I've been with Scentsy, which is insane because it's the longest I've ever done anything ever in my whole life. I mean, other than be a wife and a mom. So, my husband Scott and I have been married for almost 16 years. We have 8 children. Yes, 8. And I've only ever wanted to be a wife and a mom. Literally, if you look at my senior yearbook, it says that I wanted to have 6 kids and be super mom. And so that's all I've ever wanted. Having a career was never really
An overachiever. She has 2 extra.
something that I thought I would do. But then at the same time, I'm very independent, like fiercely independent. And so I like to have I like to make money so that I can spend it how I want to. I have a horse. I like to be able to pick how I spend my time. I don't really like to be told what to do. It's kind of a fatal flaw of mine, but it has served me very well. All the things that I was told were wrong with me when I was younger are the things that have propelled me to be where I am today. And so you don't have to believe anything that anybody says about you. You can choose the things that you can make your superpower. So, um, I the thing that I oh, back to when I joined Scentsy. I think that a lot of us have forgotten that this business doesn't have to be big, huge, life-changing for everybody. I don't know that anybody really joined and said, "I'm gonna be a superstar director. I'm gonna quit my 9 to 5. I'm gonna retire my husband. I'm gonna do all these things with this business." We joined because we needed a little bit of extra money. We joined because
No, ma'am. No. This is what irritates me because a lot of the Scentsy consultants and consultants across MLMs are changing their tune lately and saying that nobody has ever said they wanted to quit their job when they joined an MLM, or nobody said you can leave your job and have this be your full-time job. But you all were very much saying that. I was one of them. I wanted to leave my traditional job and fully work Scentsy full time or LuLaRoe or whatever MLM I was in at the time. That was the end goal for a very long time for a lot of people who joined the MLM. The end goal was to leave our traditional job and be a stay-at-home mom with a business. If that trajectory has changed for the consultants that originally joined for those reasons, that's fine. But don't go back on your word and say you never said that, because a lot of consultants did.
for me, I was a very young mom. I had my oldest son when I was 20, and I joined when I was 22. I had just had my second baby, had just bought a house. His student loans had just gone into repayment. I still had not finished college. We had one car. I would only get to drive the car on Fridays because hyper independent. Again, I needed to get out of the house. I needed to like drive around for a minute. And my treat for myself, even though we couldn't even really afford for me to drive around for a minute because gas, I would dig in my husband's cup holder and find change, or dig around on the couch and find change. And I would drive to McDonald's and I would buy myself a Coke, maybe also a small fry with change that I found because we had zero extra money. When I tell you we had a $25 a week grocery budget and we would have starved had I not been able to breastfeed, I do not exaggerate. I'm not joking. People look at my life now and they might think that I have it easier, we have it all because my husband has a fantastic job and he's worked his ass off to get our family where we are, but I know ball. We started from nothing, and we have both worked our way all the way up to the top of where we are. And
welcome to being a human being. We all start at nothing. It's up to us to do what we can with what we're given. We all start at nothing. It's nothing groundbreaking that you now can afford things. That's how life works. That's how adulting works. We get into financial situations where we can't afford things. We figure out how to turn it around and we're able to afford things again. A lot of times it's not that cut and dry or straightforward or that easy, but that's the cycle. Joining an MLM is likely going to get you at that financial turmoil where you need to get out of it.
So for me, it started with McDonald's fries. And it's really easy to look at the checks in the last 5 years, or the change in what my group looks like, or personal business looks like, or whatever, and be like, oh my gosh, I'm only making this much now. Are you kidding me? Like, I'm going to be just really honest with y'all, because I think that I can be, and I think that sometimes people want that honesty. But we got paid last week, and my paycheck was $3,000. Do you have any idea what Maggie in 2012 would have done if $3,000 had dropped in my bank account for the very little effort that I put in December? Just being very honest, because December is like the checkout month for pretty much everybody. It's just how it goes. So if you check down December, don't worry about it. That's just kind of the ebb and flow. But like,
imagine checking out of your business for a whole month and still getting a $3,000 paycheck. Thank you for saying the quiet part out loud, because how are you making that money if you weren't working your business at all? If you weren't making sales, you still got $3,000 deposited into your bank?
who am I to be disappointed about $3,000? Are you kidding me? And I joined so that I could have an extra what? $100? Come on. And so I think that we are maybe, and I'm talking about myself too, I think maybe we're just a little bit out of touch sometimes when you get to be a leader and when you get to where you're making better money. People aren't joining because they're trying to retire their husbands right now. They're not even trying to quit their teaching job or their nursing job, which is a huge blessing and incredible that you guys are able to do that. Maybe someday they will be able to do that.
Their average monthly income on their income disclosure statement isn't even $3,000 a month. She's trying to make it sound like $3,000 from Scentsy for December is way less than what she normally gets and horrible. And it might be way less than what she normally gets, but let that be a sign to you, if you're watching this and you're still a consultant, that it is very much true that allegedly, and in my opinion, the top leaders who have recruited the most people are reaping the most benefits financially. And that right there is proof enough in my eyes.
But that's not the reason why people are joining right now. It's just not. And so if we can just take a minute, and I never wanted to either, Chastity. Scott Hensley is not allowed to quit his job and stay home with me. We can't do that. We won't survive it. Like, that's just not a thing. That's never on my radar. That's also not his like personality. He would want to start his own thing, and so we would be fine. Anyway, but here's the thing.
Yeah, I can't listen to them anymore. I think we're done here. I can't do it, you guys. There's another hour left. Maybe we'll revisit this in another video. I'll skim through and see if there's anything worth revisiting. But I am annoyed with the privilege. Scentsy reeks of privilege most of the time. Most MLMs do reek of privilege when we're talking about the top leaders within the MLMs. But anyway, let's change gears. We have some comments to talk about. I was entangled in some drama last week. If you follow me on Instagram, you may have caught it. If you don't follow me on Instagram, you should know that I do document when I am entangled in any kind of drama on my stories. But if you missed it, recently I did post a Scentsy video where I talked all about some comments that Orville made, as well as some consultants that are leaving, some consultants that are still drinking the Kool-Aid, and also some changes that Heidi and Orville had announced. I posted a teaser with a piece of the quote that I pulled from a comment that Orville left that I used for the video. I was not trying to get entangled into this Facebook group drama. It just happened. And I can't stay quiet when I'm brought up in a conversation. It's a toxic trait that I'm working on. But I did read some comments. I screenshotted screenshot some comments, and I also replied to some comments, and we're going to talk about some of those things right now because some of them need to be addressed. There's all different types of groups in terms of Scentsy, and my teaser post that I made about my video got shared a few times, but also it got shared into these said groups. The consultants were not happy about that. Neither was Orville. My video was also shared into the group. And again, the consultants were not happy about that. So that is what these comments were in response to. Something that my post was being accused of was that I was taking Orville's words out of context. It wasn't really a quote that needed much context. But anyway, again, I didn't post these in the group, but I did post them to my Facebook. They are publicly posted. I shared these things publicly. I wasn't trying to hide anything. So when these types of questions were being asked, I, being the petty human that I am, felt the need to address them. So this individual says, what is your objective of posting something like this, which is completely out of context? Trying to cause drama or trying to get people to doubt Scentsy? I don't get this type of behavior. So I said, since you seem to know the context it was taken out of, why don't you share with the class? Why should I? The only people worth having a conversation about this are actual consultants. You are just a conspiracy theory YouTuber in cahoots with so-and-so trying to stir the pot. I just want to say I'm not in cahoots with anyone but myself.
Although even that's up in the air now.
I'm enough to be in cahoots with. I can't handle anything else. So I responded to this individual and I said, and here you are conversing with me angrily, but still conversing. Also, I don't need you to share. I have the context that I will share with the class on Tuesday. So I was posting my video on Tuesday. But anyway, somebody else commented, she's a consultant of some sort. I don't know her rank. I feel like I'm in the fucking army over here. We're not that important. For starters, it's none of your damn business. And I responded to this individual about the context. Sure, but it's definitely the current consultant's business and they have a right to know, which is what I do here on my channel. I expose scammy business practices for what they are and alert consumers who happen to also be consultants of these behaviors. So it just so happens that it is my damn business. But anyway, going back to our first consultant that responded to me, the one that told me I wasn't worth having a conversation with, but she's angrily conversing with me. She then says, "Aw, that's so cute that you think I'm angry. If anything, the only thing I feel about you is sad. Sad that you take so much time and effort to slam and slander a company simply because you didn't have it within you to be successful. Sad that you're trying to steal away the success and joy of others who love Scentsy, love the company, and have it within them to do well. Sad that you actively spew deceit and propaganda and feel okay about it. Girl, the only thing I feel about you is sad. And maybe a whole bunch of embarrassment. It's time to let it go and move on with your life. This type of behavior isn't healthy. Ma'am, this is a problem. This is you being part of the community that I was part of that said there'll always be a community there for me. And so many others had the same experience. But now I'm on the outside, trying to tell you what it's like on the outside, what we're seeing from the outside of the Scentsy bubble and the community that you're part of that was always gonna be there for me is telling me they're sad for me and embarrassed for me because I'm trying to raise some questions that you should have been asking, that you should be asking. Also, I don't slander. I have never slandered in my videos. Googling a word before you use it to try to insult somebody is something I highly encourage. Next time you want to use a word like slander, Google it and make sure somebody is actually guilty of it before you accuse them of slandering. Let me save you some time so you don't have to move your precious fingers to type out the word slander. Slander, noun, the utterance of false charges or misrepresentations which defame and damage another's reputation. A false and defamatory oral statement about a person. I don't make false statements. Anything that I say as a statement comes with receipts, like the screenshot of the comment that you left accusing me of slander. Anything that I don't have receipts for or is a feeling or an opinion is made very clear that I don't have receipts for this, or it is my opinion, or it is alleged. So before you come at me and accuse me of slander or anything else you don't know the definition of, go ahead and pull up Google or whatever search engine you want to use that day and look up the definition. So then, of course, I had to come in and say, don't you have a business to be working? Don't waste your time on me. You're losing money and recruits. I can't help myself. I take the bait. But apparently so does she, because she came back and said, I've got loads of time to answer questions. That's the best part of being a business owner. So I said, or is it the best part of having a downline that makes most of your income for you? We're done with her. Let's circle back to the other consultant that was telling me this was none of my business. I told her that current consultants have a right to know what's going on within Scentsy, looking through different lenses. This individual, this consultant came back and said, they do know. It's not a secret, Sam, and it's not your job to tell them. Using my name triggers me, and I don't know why. Listen, it's fine if you hate Scentsy, our consultants and MLMs. You don't have to have anything to do with them, you know? Sam, why? Sam, there is so much hate and fear in the world right now. Please don't add to it. As women, we're supposed to lift each other up. Okay? I don't know you, but I don't wish you ill will, and I would never ever try and make a living doing something that would hurt you or your family. Never. As consultants, we're not hurting anyone. We're sharing a product with our friends that we love. None of us are out to do harm, hurt another human, or wreck someone's life. Clearly, you and I are very different. I will never understand your motive or how actively hating on people you don't know brings you joy. Do you need a participation trophy? Relax. As women, we're supposed to lift each other up all of the time.
She is out of touch with reality.
That's unrealistic. We're human beings. We're not all going to agree with each other all of the time. You spreading the word about an MLM is not saving lives. It's not changing lives for the better, making a huge difference, or lifting women up like you think it is. The facts that y'all spew are most of the time made up or twisted to encourage people to join the MLM, which they likely will never see a dime from. And I've made it my job to inform people like me who've fallen into the traps of joining an MLM with hopes that it was going to help me and uplift me, when it actually did the complete opposite. Now, I don't blame this individual, and I'm not upset with this individual, because I said it before and I'll say it again. I was her. I didn't think that I was causing any harm. I didn't realize that what I was doing had a negative effect on a lot of people. And just like me, this individual will not realize until she's on the other side. So I'll be here when you're ready. Now let's cut to the chase. Let's get to the comment left by Orville. The individual that shared this post in the Scentsy group that it was shared in on Facebook does have some beef going on with Heidi and Orville and a lot of the consultants. So when Orville saw this post, I'm sure he wasn't thrilled. And he made that clear with this very long comment, and I didn't take it out of context. Speaking of people with no clue, now I don't know if he was referring to me or the other individual, but both of us were within Scentsy as consultants. So just let that sit with you for a second. Scentsy is a direct selling company. Scentsy always has been a direct selling company. Let me dissect that for a second. Yes, they have and always will be a direct selling company, because you are selling directly to the customer. The person is ordering from the website through the consultant and directly getting the product sent to them. Direct selling and multi-level marketing are not the same thing. You can be a direct seller and not be part of a multi-level marketing company, but just saying Scentsy is a direct selling company is ignoring the multi-level marketing facet of the business that does exist. It's still there. If you're selling directly to a consumer, that's all you need to be a direct selling business. So yes, you're a direct selling business, but you're also a multi-level marketing company, because your direct sellers are part of a multi-leveled marketing tier system. So it's a multi-level marketing company and a direct selling company. But just know that him saying they're a direct selling company does not automatically negate the fact that they are a multi-level marketing company. Anyway, I was the executive chairman of the Direct Selling Association, which is run by a bunch of MLM people. Heidi and I are in the Direct Selling Hall of Fame. Congratulations. We have personal relationships with people in every country and at every level of Scentsy that we love like family. We don't need the fame. We aren't chasing money. We have held consistent to our principles when we had no income. When Scentsy was the fastest growing consumer products company in the Inc. 500, when Scentsy sales dipped, when Scentsy doubled in size in 4 months in response to the pandemic, and when Scentsy sales returned to normal. Even when people who have no clue what they are talking about spend all their energy to peddled falsehoods and innuendo, we have been true to our principle. What about the one where you were the safe alternative to candles?
Well, that one doesn't count.
Oh, he's sharing some principles with us now. Here's a few. Sell Scentsy to earn money for your family. Don't spend family money on Scentsy, but also stay active by selling $250 of product every month, or else you're going to get kicked out of the Scentsy family. Allegedly, live within your means. Financial freedom is living off of last year's money. My guy, you can't even get anybody close to that level of financial freedom. Contribute more than you take. Live arrows out. Childlike wonder leads to contagious optimism, which leads to love, connection, and kindness, which leads to hope, which leads to light, which brings childlike wonder. That was like the biggest word salad spiral I've ever twisted down. Industry leading, family friendly, business opportunity. Warm the heart, enliven the senses, inspire the soul. Are we perfect? No way, but we do our best, and given enough time, we make things right. We also believe in loving our neighbor as ourselves, and the golden rule, turning the other cheek. This isn't you turning the other cheek, Orville, but even Jesus turned the table. Oh, so Jesus said it was okay. But even Jesus turned the tables at the temple when disrespect and corruption threatened what was most important. That escalated so quickly, but then we're back to yes, we are debt-free, as defined by anyone who is not an angry hack trying to destroy people. Love thy neighbor. No, the California lawsuit is not going to force us to, quote, go affiliate, whatever that means.
Stop playing dumb.
Orville, you know exactly what that means. That lawsuit is about independent contractor status and has nothing to do with compensation structure. They do have a class action lawsuit. I mentioned this, I think it was on my Facebook somewhere. I will probably never cover that class action lawsuit. A lot of businesses in general end up being a part of a class action lawsuit over time. And it's boring to cover. It's nothing huge. It's normal business stuff. And so I won't be covering that class action lawsuit anytime soon, unless it does bring anything huge to Scentsy. But anyway, he goes on to say, no, we are not going to eliminate any current or future consultant who willingly joins, follows the rules, and earns a reward. Yes, we will change processes and programs to align to market changes. Yes, we'll adjust expectation and reward to align our incentives with productive behavior. Yes, we will run a business like a business, which means some employees will have a seat on the bus, some will not, and some on the bus will have to change seats. None of that means we are going out of business. I personally never said they were going out of business. And I said this before in a past video. If by chance I ever slip, that's never what I meant. I do believe Scentsy does have a tried and true product, and I don't think they'll be going out of business anytime soon. I do still firmly believe that they will be flipping to affiliate only and getting rid of the multi-level marketing aspect of things. That is just because of what I've been observing, and that is just my opinion. None of that means we are abandoning direct selling. Again, direct selling and multi-level marketing, party plan business, those are not the same thing. They're different. They're different umbrellas of things. Direct selling is directly selling to the consumer, but are you doing it with multi-levels of marketing? Because if you are, you're also a multi-level marketing company. But anyway, just be careful of the verbiage he's using. Just because he said they're not getting rid of direct selling doesn't mean that they're not going to get rid of the ranking system that they currently use to pay out their consultants. Spin changes made during a difficult business environment however you like. But if you bet against Scentsy, it's only a matter of time before everyone knows you were bitter and wrong for no reason but to share your misery. I don't think that was directed toward me. At least it shouldn't have been, because it doesn't apply. Now, a lot of the consultants were in the comments of this specific comment cheering Orville on, saying mic drop, blah, blah, blah. And that, again, proves the cult-like following that Heidi and Orville have, especially because as a quote unquote business owner, you want to look at the message that somebody is trying to give you when you're talking about your business. Like, you look at the words he's using. He's not saying that they're not getting rid of MLM. He's claiming that he has no idea what an affiliate model is. Is that because he wants to play dumb when they flip to affiliate and they're like, oh, that's what you were talking about? Yeah, we've been planning that for months. These things are what are potentially coming down the pipeline. And Orville is being very careful about the words he uses because he doesn't want to lose his cult-like following, because those are the number one customers, allegedly, and in my opinion. There's so much going on with Scentsy, you guys. It's a hot mess. We are continuing to follow it. Like I said in the last video, I'm going to just start modge podging shit together for Scentsy because there is a lot of moving pieces. I am filming this video 2 days before World Tour that's now virtual. So I could be showing up as editing Sam to add something in, or we could just have a whole nother video of what went down there. I'm sure there will be something that comes out of that. If you're watching this and you are a current Scentsy consultant, just be aware of what is happening. Anywho, sure. Thanks for hanging out with me while I talk a bunch of shit, and I will see you in the next one.